So I got a little carried away with putting the bike back together and forgot to film it. So let me show you what we have gotten done so far. We reinstalled the front fork assembly and tightened the new ball joint. There's one there. There's one behind the headlights, and got that reattached, got the steering linkage reattached, and we've installed the headlight. And those are these clips here, the C-clips. These are posts that just slide into these rubber grommets. Then these guys are bolted in. But the headlight assembly slides into these carriers from the front. It takes a little bit of fiddling to get the instruments in place and get the 4 mounting points lined up. And once that's done, this piece slides up, locks in place, and now we can bolt these 2 bolts down and these guys down. We had disconnected these pins to give us room to get this trim plate out. Now it's time to reattach them, so we're going to pull the clip, realign the holes, and reattach that E-clip. Next is the GPS trim plate. There are 3 tabs on the bottom that slide in here. So we're going to slide that down in here. And then that will clip in here. Oops. Let's get that out of the way. There. And there. The GPS connector bolts on with those 4 tiny screws we took out, and the lever goes up here to the right. That's the release for the GPS unit. We're going to tighten those screws down, then tighten the mounting bolts for the entire assembly. Getting this body piece to fit was giving me quite a bit of trouble until I figured out how this clip goes. There's a clip on the end of the body panel and it clips on here. I was trying to get this guy behind here to go into that bolt hole. It doesn't go there. This is actually to hold the trim piece on. This is what holds the bodywork to the bike. We are now entering day 3 of our bearing debacle, and this is the axle shaft that we finally got pressed out of the fork carrier, and there is a significant ridge on here. I do not think this axle is usable. Luckily, I found one used. That will be here on Tuesday. So today's project is to get the bearings out. This is the exploded one. It completely came apart. The other side is actually in pretty good shape, so we're going to try to knock that one out and then see whether we can turn this over and get this guy out. And it is so messed up I can't even get the spacer out of here. So wish us luck. So today's project is to try to get the wheel bearings out of the hub and see if I have damaged the wheel to the point where that needs to be replaced. We hope that is not the case. So we went to Harbor Freight to look for a wheel bearing puller. And the problem is this bearing is intact. So it's just over an inch internal diameter. It's right at 25 millimeters. The problem is on the back side, the bearing has pulled out, and the only thing that's left is the shell on the outside. And this set, I don't believe, will expand far enough to get that race out. And this set was 72 bucks. I got this set at AutoZone for 132, but when I'm done using it, if I take it back, I get my money back. So that is what we're going to do. Between these 2 kits, those bearings are coming out of here today. Step 1 is to heat the hub. And there we are, one bearing out. To reinstall the bearings, we're going to heat the hub with a heat gun, and that bearing has been in the freezer all morning to help shrink it down, and then we'll tap it in with a hammer and then add the dust seal. With the dust seal flush, we're now ready to install the wheel on the bike. So the bike's pretty much back together. I've got all the plastic back on, got the instrument cluster installed, the GPS is back on, the windshield, the mirrors, all that stuff has all been reattached. The next step is going to be to put the front wheel back on. I just got done putting the wheel bearings in and the new dust caps on. Got a brand new tire on that I used my Harbor Freight tire changer to change. There'll be a video on that upcoming. So let's throw the wheel on, and then we can reattach the brake calipers, stick the fender on it. I think we're going to call this done. And so the project is complete. Or so I thought. One thing that is really important is that after you've done a project of this size, that you check your workbench for additional parts that you may not have installed. That particular piece is the wheel bearing spacer that goes between the wheel bearings. So I've taken the front wheel off, take the bearings out that I just so carefully installed, go rent a puller, yank one bearing out to reinstall the spacer. Now, when I found this morning, I started taking a look at this edge, and it's pretty beat up. This was the side that was against the bearing that died. This is the other side, and that's pretty hammered. So just because I knew I was going to have to take everything apart anyway, I went ahead and ordered a brand new one, and then we'll be good. So I'm going to take the wheel off, get that set up, and then go rent the puller, yank one bearing out, throw that tube in, and reassemble the front end. And then the bike should be ready to ride.